Ah, that's good. Nothing like that first sip of coffee. Hi, Ray. Good morning, Stargate. I like that name. Let's give it another minute for other people to join us, Ray. It's so nice outside. It was like warm yesterday. It was like 50 degrees. Mm. Hi, Chase Freedom. Good morning. Can you hear the birds chirping? We made it through. Hasisav Avar. Do you know what that means? Hasisav Avar. Forgot the next line. It means the winter has passed. It's from Shir Hashirim. Hanid sunim nir uba aretz. I think that's what the next line is. And the sprouts are seen in the land, I think. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. Okay, so today's title. I hope, Betty, I hope you're tuned in and listening. I know you're listening from Facebook in your car, driving your kids to school. But you gave me today's title last week on our chat, on our 613 chat. When you said to me, Betty, that you tune in to listen to the intricacies of my thoughts, you have no idea what you did for me. Oh, hi, Abe. Thank you for coming, Abe. It was great talking to you yesterday on the phone. Betty, you made me realize that my favorite love language, like the sweetest spot for me to feel loved, is when someone is interested, truly interested in hearing not just my thoughts, but the intricacies, the details of my thoughts. When someone is curious about my inner world, like I had fireworks going off inside. Like I was like, my heart was exploding. And you gave that to me, Betty. So thank you. You made me feel loved, seen, heard. You made me sparkle. And I had to dedicate, today we're not even going to learn Tikkunei Zohar. You gave me the strength, the inspiration, the bravery. Hi, Stephen. To dedicate this class just to sharing the intricacies of my thoughts, because every day I have so many thoughts. It's like my favorite pastime is to just sit and think, to contemplate. Like Yura teaches, what's the difference between animals and people? The ability to contemplate and contemplate God, not just sit and think about stupidity. And I don't really have people in my day-to-day life that I can just go deep with, have deep conversations. I see like most of the world is talking about like what's on Netflix or, like things that I just like immediately my mind goes numb. When the conversation turns that way, I'm like already on a different planet. So I want to thank all of you out there who for the past 2 years since I started my YouTube channel, and this is the reason I started my channel, I believe, is so I could share my thoughts. So I have a landing spot and attract the right kind of people. I'm kind of glad that my channel stayed small because I feel like I was able to develop a relationship with so many of you guys intimately and personally, and I could share the intimacies of the intricacies and the intimacies of my mind with you and feel received. It's the greatest gift you guys could give me, and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful. This channel has done many wonderful things for me, for my self-esteem, for so many things, and I'm really grateful to you guys. Hey, Irma. Me and Irma had lunch yesterday together. We had good times. The good times were had. I want to start out by, let's timestamp this. You getting ready, Chase? Today is Monday, March 9th, 2026, and we are smack in the middle of the greatest story, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, ever told. Hi, Betty June, Boker Tov. Okay, let's fix that hair right there. Okay. The first thought I wanted to present to you guys, and I like to give you my thoughts and inspire you guys to have your own thoughts later today. Even if you remember only one, this hair is down, even if you remember only one thought and contemplate it and ponder it later, that gives me tremendous satisfaction. If you have thoughts about my thoughts, and you could even text me them later and put them on the chat, that's my love language. That's my sweet spot. That's the direct highway to my heart. Hey, Susan. Okay, so my friend Yitzi Brach sent me a perfect text yesterday from Sefer Yetzirah. 1:9. He said in Sefer Yetzirah, this is Avraham Avinu, our patriarch, said, every voice arises to be recognized by another. Every word forms to be understood by another. A word has a special partner it can never detach from. Your unified breath. Word and breath go together. Word is carried on the breath. The word depends on breath for its life. The breath depends on its word for direction. When you speak, you are making the smallness of a word contain the infinity of you. You give a word infinity by speaking it, carrying it on the breath. Make it count because it's counting on you. And then he did his own little explanation of it, Yitzi. He said, when you speak, you aren't just making noise. You are planting your flag in the world. You are making your word count. Because without your breath to give it life, your word has no direction. Without the word to give your breath a vessel, your essence remains hidden, right? You reveal your essence inside your words. Real wisdom is the moment, the words we speak, the words that are desperate for their partner so they can start building. Find long-lost love. Finding their long-lost love, their partner in building, breath and word, the full life force of the one who spoke them. And I want to tell you a story that goes with this. Thank you, Irma. The story is like this. I went to pick up my grandson from school. Every Friday I go, that's our day. I go pick him up, take him on a date, take him for pizza, take him to Marshall's, and I pick him in the car and he's trying to tell me a story from the day. And I couldn't understand. He mixes up a bunch of, he's 3 years old and it's hard to understand. So he was saying something to me and I was like, what? I couldn't understand him. And I saw that he was we couldn't move past it. Like I couldn't change the conversation. I couldn't redirect him. He really wanted me to know this one thing. And I tried calling my daughter. I'm like, Kayla, can you understand what he's saying? No one can understand. And finally, in his infinite brilliance, my grandson threw himself out of his car seat. And I was like, oh, she threw it to you? He played charades with me. He knew he had to act it out. He was trying to tell me the word threw. She threw it to me. I was like, she threw it? He's like, yes, she threw it to me. I was like, oh, I'm so happy. And we were both had such a moment where he felt understood. Even for a 3-year-old, it is such an innate human desire to be understood, even on the smallest level, that your words be understood and received on the other end. And I see that, it's confirmation of why this channel brings me so much satisfaction. Because when I feel like heard and understood, right? Wasn't that brilliant, Dharma? Like he literally threw himself. I was like, oh, through. Hey, Yakub, good morning, Boker Tov. So the next deep thought that I'd like to share with you guys, I wanted to do a little chazara about this week was a very epic week because Yir Hari was on a major podcast, Nino Rodriguez, and he was able to speak Aleph Mem Shin and reach a very wide audience. But I want to share my thoughts about that. Because I always have thoughts about things. And my thoughts are usually counter-narrative. And my thoughts are very different than most people. So first of all, I and my climbing up the awakening ladder, I spent time with everybody in the awakening community. I hit them sometimes for a day, for a week, for a month, for a year. I stayed with them till I learned the lesson. I got their vibe. I got what they were putting down, because most people have a theme that Hashem gave them a certain mission, position them in this place, and they don't veer from it. And you can pick, okay, I got this theme, I learned what they had to teach, and then you move on to the next teacher. For me, Nino, I love him. I think he's doing great work in the world, but he's not my vibe. He's not my niche. I could tell from his frequency. I listened to him for about 5 minutes. I spent probably a week with Nino. And the second I understood that he's a fear vibe, he's that bandwidth where he puts out sensationalist titles to his videos, and it's clickbaity, it's clickbaity. And when something is like scaring me, I'm like, I gotta turn the channel here. I don't need to manifest. What the enemy always did was hijack our neshamas, our consciousness, to manifest, because they can't manifest without us, because we're the ones with the neshamas, the archons, the dark energies. They know they have to hijack us to manifest their sick timelines. So anything, even somebody who's in the truth community, if they're using fear to hook an audience, I'm out, son, I'm out. So, yeah, right, Betty June? So, while I love you, Nino, and I appreciate the work, and you do have an audience, because we see that most of the world still craves that hit of dopamine or whatever it is that gets them excited when they hear fear. We're trained to enjoy fear. And that's the rewiring of Geula that we have to do. We have to be trained to enjoy peace. So I was a little disappointed in that podcast because Yer Hari was not given, I don't think, enough airtime. And when he said the Aleph Mem Shin, I don't think it was received with, he wasn't heard. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to be heard. And I think it was just like, it should have been the focus of the conversation. And instead it was this whole fear-based conversation of how AI is coming to get us. And I don't agree with that either. I think that's a stupid way of thinking. I'm really saying my opinions today. If you think there's a whole AI war that's going to outsmart humanity, you're missing the entire point of Geula. Geula is when the light codes, the Or HaGanuz is the light codes. This is an unbelievable yichud that came to me the other day. When we say Or HaGanuz and the secular awakened community says light codes, it's the same thing. Something that's coming from the sun, from in the upper atmosphere, that's going to turn on the God particle or whatever inside of us, that's going to turn on our brain to capacity, gradually, hopefully, our DNA to capacity. We only use what? 2% of our brain? 5% of our brain? Think about it. And when we do that, AI is going to be terrified of us. We're going to be the walking embodiment of the fullest capacity of Hashem. They're going to be having podcasts about us. AI is going to be plotting how to survive humans. Okay, so that's my opinion about that. There was something else I wanted to say. Yeah. And there was another thing said. I think it was by Swerdlow, and it really upset me. Really, oof. He said that AI is the mind of God. Ooh, did that piss me off. All the respect to you, sir, but AI is not the mind of God. Okay, we read, I think 2 weeks ago, to in Tikkun Zohar, the cause of all causes. Hashem is wisdom that is unknowable. Hashem is understanding that we cannot understand. And to presume that AI is the mind of the Ein Sof? No, no, that's ignorant. No, that's diminishing Hashem. I won't have it. Not on my watch. No. AI is here to serve Hashem. I like that, Irma. And to serve humanity. I like this from Orlando. Yes, Stephen, you like that? Orlando Ortega. Thoughts are the first spark of creation within us. They sure are. Where intention begins, right? Sasura. Before words and deeds. Yeah. Thoughts are everything. We're going to talk more about that later when I share more of my thoughts. I once heard a podcast by Darius J. Wright. And now Darius J. Wright, you guys, I spent time, like talk about, I probably spent 6 months with Darius. And I even contemplated like joining his website where they teach you how to do this, but then it spooked me, like I didn't want to do that. But what he does is he knows how to do what Yira does. He knows how to divest from his body and travel the upper worlds, and he can do it at will. And he comes back with information. He goes to the halls of Amente. He meets up with his uncle Fred, and I was really captivated by Darius J. Wright. Truly, when he speaks, he has such a presence to him and such a neshama. I know he's a world leader. He's like from a very high place. And I remember one line he said that stuck in my head. He said, somebody asked him, should we be afraid of AI? And he laughed. He's like, compared to your soul, AI is a thumbnail, is a fingernail. AI is a fingernail. And I never forgot that. So people who are sitting and spending time worrying about AI don't understand what's inside of your body, what Hashem invested inside of you. And what Yura is doing, he's utilizing quantum. He's utilizing AI to spread out. That's what the real purpose is, to make it your bitch. He's utilizing AI to get the word out exponentially. So that's a very different conversation and a very different thing than worrying about AI coming to get us. Next, what's next? My deep thoughts. I think there was something I wanted to show you from this. Oh, this was just somebody had made a comment during the broadcast who understood what I'm trying to say here. Lisa, once you reach 50% more of your brain's capabilities, you become the actual embodiment of God resonance, right? AI wants that from us. Okay. Okay, so then I had I had another deep thought. And this has to do with my main theme right now that I'm hooked on is the male female polarities, and how Abe and I were talking about this yesterday, and how it's the real tikkun. If the first fracture um, of um, of this realm was Adam and Eve, then the ultimate repair is through male and female, and them getting the relationship right. The relationship is what fractured reality. So the repair of that breach, the restoration of that breach between man and woman, is going to be the ultimate repair. So I had this thought, this amazing thought about the tree of life, and how if women down here, us women down here in Asiya, in order to activate and open the chamber in Keter, where bliss, the Chewy center, the bliss. Last night, I woke up at 2 in the morning. Sidebar. I woke up at 2 in the morning, and I had such bliss rushes in my body. Like I felt bliss coursing through my veins, in my heart, exploding. Like I was like, I don't know what. Hashem woke me up just to experience this feeling. And I was just lying in my bed. I was like, Hashem, just make me a vessel for Keter. If you're just getting me primed right now, to connect to my essence in Keter, to connect to the Shekhinah in Keter, I'll sit here and I just try to feel it and feel it fully. And I hadn't had that. I had it years ago where Hashem woke me up just to give me the experience of bliss in my body, and I had it again last night. And it's such a gift when it happens. You don't know when it's going to hit, but I wrote it out for about a half hour of just lying in my bed, feeling that good that good feeling in the body of bliss. I didn't do anything to deserve it. It was a free gift. So women down here, when we learned in many classes back that when we match down here, we cause arousal from below. We cause this vessel on top, in Keter, the chamber, within a chamber that no man can enter. It has to open. It has to unlock itself, open from within. When women in Asiya feel bliss, the Or HaGanuz, the light codes, start to eke out and wake up the planet and wake up the body and bring the body, all of our bodies, to fuller capacity. So the thought that I had was, because we know man and woman have to work together to get this chamber to open up and release the Or HaGanuz, I was like, okay, so Malchus, down here, we're in Malchus, this is where we are. Malchus is female, it's a female Sephira. And the middle column is male, okay? There's 3 in the middle. And then at the top, Keter is female in the center. I think it's male on the exterior, it's male and female. It's Ratzon and it's Oneg. And women can use the footholds of these 3 masculine Sephiros of Yesod, of Tiferes, and of Da'as. We climb these, it's like a jungle gym, it's like a rock wall. You climb up, you get a foothold, and women can climb up. When a man has integrated from the right and the left, okay, both extremes, and he's in the middle and he's centered, and he's done the work of himself being grounded and centered in his yesod, in his sexuality, in his root chakra, in his ability to provide, protect, create a safe space for a woman, sexually and physically. Okay, that's level 1. Level 2, in his heart. His heart is not fragmented. It's not all over the place. It is unified. Okay, women grab onto that next, and then the next rung up is when a man's mind is integrated in das. He's not too much in the intellect, and he's not too much in bina. He's not too much chachma, not too much bina, but the perfect amount. And also not too much chesed, not too much gevura, not too much netzach, not too much hod. Everything is in perfect balance in the middle. And it gives the woman something to feel safe. Safety is the buzzword in the community right now. I hear it in all the reels. What's the woman's number one need to feel safe? But not just safe in one arena. She's got to feel safe in the root chakra, and the heart chakra, and in the mind. So when a man provides this ladder, this jungle gym for a woman to climb up, his manhood, his heart, his mind, she can direct her energy all the way up to get there, and she can sparkle. She can be her fullest feminine radiance in essence, and do only the woman can do what humanity needs it to do, which is open the gate from within, release the Or HaGanuz. But the woman can only do it with the man. She cannot do this without the safety of our men. And we have to climb on the backs of our men to get there. And a real man, this is his pleasure. This is his honor. When a man is in his masculine, all he wants to see is his woman shine, and provide that ladder for her. He's got to do the work. He's got to do the work of emotional maturity, spiritual maturity. Wasn't that a good thought, you guys? Okay. Next. Okay, so there has been a prophecy by the Bnei Yissaschar that has gone viral in Jewish WhatsApp groups. And I'm going to show it to you. Here it is. Okay. Many of us have seen this already, but let's just read through it. It's Ma'amar Dalid Yemei HaPurim. The Bnei Yissaschar says, V'hinei mekubal b'yadenu Kabbalah Sakadmonim, and behold, we have received in our hands the Kabbalah of those that came before us. Iyin b'tikunei Zohar, look inside Tikunei Zohar, v'raya Mehamana. Okay, we know by now who the Raya Mehamana is. It's Yira Ha'ari. They are equal in gematria. It says there, I have to look this up. I meant to, but I forgot. Chaf Gimel. Okay. Asher la'asid, in the future, b'mehir v'yameinu, quickly in our days, Melchemes Amalek, the war of Amalek, u'mechayeso, and the blotting, and his blotting out, Yihiyeh, the blotting out of Amalek, Yihiyeh, be'erev Chag HaPesach, he will be completely annihilated, Erev Pesach. Harei Shalach Alafanecha, that is before you. V'haschala, and the beginning of this wiping out will be Biyom HaPurim, on the day of Purim. V'hasiyum v'hagamar be'erev Pesach, and its conclusion and ending on Erev Pesach. Okay, so I just want to pause there and say, it's exactly 30 days. You know, when Q says done in 30, Purim is Yud Dalid Adar, and Pesach is Yud Dalid, I believe I'm getting the dates right, Yud Dalid Nisan. So it's exactly 30 days between Purim and Pesach. So that could be the 30 days Q was talking about. Hein, Hema, Tafshin, Chaf, Sha'os. These 30 days add up to 720 hours. Minyan Gimel Pa'amim Amalek, which is the total of, in Gematria, Amalek 3 times. 3 times Amalek equals 720. Okay, so the 3 times what we were saying before, what Yakub was saying, that there's thought, speech, and action. So these 3 times Amalek, Levatel Shi'ur Komas HaKlipa, remember this line, I'm going to reference it in a second, to completely obliterate the height of the walls of the klipa of Amalek, okay, the husk, the chokehold of Amalek, mikol v'kol, from every single thing, okay, b'machshava, that's one of the 3 times, dibur, speech, and maisa, and action. So the Gimel Pa'amim of wiping out Amalek is like we're going to obliterate him to the fact that he's not going to be in our thought, our speech, or our action. Okay? This evil enemy that has hijacked our consciousness is going to be so obliterated we won't even have a single thought about him. And it is this. He lived in the 1800s, the Bnei Yissaschar, and he tapped. Oh my God! I was watching a reel at 2 a.m, and it said that all that prophecy is the ability to recognize patterns. It's pattern recognition in a frequency, inside a frequency that is not bound by time. Okay, so this is what the prophets, they were able to tap into the quantum field. We have language for this now. They're able to tap into the quantum field, which is a place there's no time in the quantum field. And they were able to recognize patterns, pattern recognition. And I'm telling you, that's the skill that I have developed from COVID. I have honed my ability of pattern recognition to a point where I can see people and call people and understand people. 2 words in, I know what their vibe is. I know what they're all about. Except sometimes I get fooled. Sometimes I do get fooled. Okay. So I wanted to go back and show you guys a clip from Yira's prophecy. When Yira did this exact skill of tapping into the quantum field to extract information. And so just remember, levatel shi'ur komas haklipa, to completely annihilate the entire husk of Amalek. Listen to what Yira said.
And when they occur, do not think we will be in war for a long time, because we will not be in war for a long time. The reason why is because this will be the complete shattering of the Kli. It's not a matter of a Kli that needs to be beat or refined. This is a shattering of a Kli, the complete shattering of a husk.
He said it, the complete shattering. He echoed the words of the Bnei Yissaschar when he said, it's, hold on, let me hear it again.
And when they occur, do not think we'll be in war for a long time, because we will not be in war for a long time. The reason why is because this will be the complete shattering of the Kli. It's not a matter of
Right, it's a complete shattering of the Kli in all those 3 ways, b'machshava, b'dibur, and b'maisa. Okay, so you're tapped into that same vibe that the Bnei Yissaschar did. Oh, that sun is so beautiful. Oh, it feels so good. My favorite day of the year is when we switch the clocks back. Okay. Okay, the last thing I want to do today is I want to present 2 thoughts from Yer Ha'ari when he sat down with Yori at his house and did a TikTok live. And a lot of times, this is what Yer does for me. He presents a thought that I never heard before, but it resonates as the highest truth. And it sends me into days of contemplation and just bliss, because I'm thinking he gives me fresh material like to contemplate Hashem with. And he replaces the wrong information that I've had about Hashem my whole life. And he gives me finally the correct information. And I'm able to sit and just, it's like food for my brain. It's very nourishing for my brain to just, to sit and think about these thoughts. That's probably the biggest gift he gives all of us. The correct way to think about Hashem. The right way, finally. We finally know how to think about Hashem and to Hashem. So I want to play his two clips from that video. One is a 5-minute clip and one is a 3-minute clip. And then I want to expound my thoughts about his thoughts. and then you can have your own thoughts about my thoughts about his thoughts, and we can have a thought fest. And I think this brings Hashem a lot of nachas when we sit and are curious about him. My curiosity for Hashem is endless. My longing, my love, Hashem knows. Okay. Oh, I wanted to say also that the Bnei Yissaschar did do it. That yours must be a time traveler. Your Hari must be a time traveler. And I think all that it means to be a time traveler is that you can access the quantum field with your mind, where there is no time. Because the Bnei Yissaschar quotes the Raya Mehemna, right? He's quoting Raya Mehemna. And so he's sandwiched in between because you have your Hari first asserting the prophecy of this time frame between Purim and Pesach, and then you have Bnei Yissaschar picking up on it from the Raya Mehemna, and then you have your Hari reasserting it. So it's kind of like a sandwich of like the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu picked up by the Bnei Yissaschar, and then again in our generation, your Hari reclaiming what was originally his. That prophecy was originally his. So it just helps me understand what time travel is a little bit better also. It's not like getting in a spaceship and going somewhere. It's like in your mind, you go to a place where time doesn't exist and you draw information from there. Oh, I like this. I'm going to post this one. Yakub said, I've never experienced the presence of the Shekhinah more strongly than by respecting the woman in my life. Yeah. There's going to come a time when men understand that they're only going to touch the face of God through their woman. They're only going to have the most intimate experience of Hashem in the physical. Okay, a man could you can do what you're doing and you can go to the upper worlds, but if you want to feel Hashem embodied, if you want to feel Hashem through the body and in the body, it's through the female in your life. She's the vehicle. Yakub knows this. Hi, Shauna. I'm thirsty again. Okay, let's go to that clip that I want to share with you. Okay, I have struggled with this concept of thoughtless light versus thoughtful light.
Better terms.
Like I've heard you explain it a bunch of times and I didn't fully understand it. I was wrestling with it until he spoke it out loud. And someone in the comments on TikTok said, oh, this is Yira in a flow state. And it's so true. When your Hari gets in a flow state, like watch out, like don't move and don't make a sound. Don't interrupt that flow state because that is direct channeling from the Ein Sof. He's drawing information from the highest place. And I love those words, flow state. So let's watch Yira in his flow state. And then we'll discuss it afterwards.
But I want to posit another idea and illuminate it this way. I'll ask this question. What does it mean when the Ramchal says that the entire point of the restriction, essentially the entire point of creation, was to bring forth a place for evil? And the answer to that is, in the beginning was the illimitable, and the illimitable expanded to the boundary of the illimitable, and there was no end to its boundary, and there was nothing outside of the illimitable, and there was no differentiation. And so then, therefore, there's only the illimitable. Many people and philosophers posited that the purpose of creation was to bring about his own attributes. That could be one place or another. The Arizal seems to kind of insinuate that too. However, that wouldn't be necessary. And the reason why I would say that would be necessary is because if all there is the illimitable, you're already all-knowing of self, right? So then what would be the point of withdrawing the restriction? There wouldn't be a point because everything would be unified in.
Okay, you guys understood that? Like, Hashem is everything and all knowing. So how is he supposed to experience himself? Okay. I can't repeat what he just said because he says it so good. But that's the point of what he's saying. Is like, if Hashem is everything, how is he supposed to experience anything different from himself?
Being. But the question that would arise is, if you were all knowing of the self and all knowing of everything, and you are all that is, then what would be the one thing you'd want to know? And the answer is what you're not.
The opposite.
The opposite, exactly. Because that's technically an impossibility. And therefore, by that key, we can begin to understand many of the difficulties that arise when trying to understand the nature of the sensum, its contraction and restriction. And so therefore, what is the opposite of a unified singularity?
Multiplied, limited.
Right, a limited multiplicity.
Yes.
Exactly. What is the opposite of being perfect?
Having flaws, yeah.
Having
being
flaws.
imperfect.
Exactly. The opposite of being begotten.
Unbegotten.
Right. And so if the illimitable is unbegotten, what's it like to be begotten?
Exactly.
Right? What's it like if the illimitable is perfect? What's it like to make a mistake? Right? If the illimitable cannot die, what's it like to die? Right? And so if the illimitable is in control of everything, what's it like to not be in control?
Right.
And therefore we have choice and arguably free will. This is a very important contextualized understanding, because the philosophers fell into great error. And this is their reasoning. So did the Calvinists and many other people who tried to understand this matter, and they couldn't reconcile it. The restriction is a restriction of the light of the infinite, because the illimitable had to withdraw its own power, its own light, in order to create a vacancy for reality to come into existence. Otherwise, reality would just instantly nullify, because everything is really the illimitable, and it would just return to a state of all being. So Chaim Vital points this out and says that the light, the straight light, could not enter all the way in, otherwise the reality would be nullified. But it goes into a series of contractions where the illimitable, its light, is being restricted gradually. Every differentiation between the gradual contraction of the illimitable light is what created the worlds. Now, what's important to understand is, I talked about the reshimu, the residue. What this means is that, yes, everything is the illimitable, right? Because the underlying reality is the illimitable. The restriction takes place within inside of the illimitable. It's not outside of the illimitable. It's not a separate thing. But this creates a unique situation. We call that place of the restriction thoughtless light, or la machshava, thoughtless light. What does it mean, thoughtless? Because in order for this reality to come into existence, the illimitable, as per what was revealed, that the purpose of it was to bring forth its opposite, what's it like to not be in control? In order to relinquish that control, it takes a passive state. That passive state, that restriction of its own power, that restriction of its own light, which allows us to all have choice, and creation to have choice, is what's called Orla Machshava, the thoughtless light, right? So yes, everything is God, everything is infinity, everything is the illimitable, yes, but it's being animated by the thoughtless light, okay? Now the distinction that's important to understand here is that this is not the thoughtful light. The thoughtful light remains in the illimitable, and it's what caused the desire to come into being, mainly what caused that. The outcome of this is that, yes, everything is the illimitable, but God isn't controlling anything, right? Because the opposite of being in control is what? Not being in control. Exactly, which goes against the nature of this reality. This is one of the major errors that people make. They think God is micromanaging and controlling everything. And this is the same idea that the Calvinists could not reconcile, so they believed in predetermination. And this is the same idea that the philosophers cannot reconcile, and so they believe that everything is God. Well, if that's the case, then it would be God killing God.
There's no choice.
Right, God sexually assaulting God, right? If you...
Okay. I could do an entire class just on that thought alone. But I'm just going to summarize my main thought on what you're taught over there. I never understood um, about the tzimtzum, any of these concepts. They're all brand new to me, as of knowing Yerahari. He taught me that that's basic Kabbalah, to understand about the tzimtzum and the how Hashem pulled back his energy to allow us to have free will. He had to retract his light. And I love how Yura showed us with his hands. It really helps to see him in person, because when he explains things with his hands, I understand it better. And how gradually, even like the concentric rings, like Hashem, the minute each layer was a gradual constriction. It was amazing. It was amazing to see him explain. I think that's why I finally understood about the thoughtless light versus the thoughtful light. The thoughtful light is all the way up in Ein Sof. The thoughtless light is down here with us. It is a field that Hashem allows us to use, to utilize, to animate reality using our thoughts, or lamachshava, meaning it is a field for our thoughts to create reality. We're the ones down here. He gave us the reins. Here, you have the reins. With your thoughts, you direct reality, right? That's how important our thoughts are. And Hashem's thoughts are up pre-tzimtzum. Hashem's thoughts are all the way up in Ein Sof. His will, his desire, his thoughts, Hashem's thoughts. And Hashem's thoughts are not our thoughts. Hashem's mind is unknowable. And I realized this is the core of what all these, the New Age spirituality movement of manifestation is about. How to use your thoughts to manifest your reality. And I never liked manifestation. Manifestation felt like a burden to me. It felt like I was trying too hard. It felt like it was counterproductive, because I was like, anytime I thought about what I wanted, I was like trying to squish the feeling of not having that thing. And it just felt too hard. Manifestation didn't feel good. And, I understood how it's your emotion and your mood that creates your reality. And your emotion and mood is created by your thoughts, but it's hard to constantly be grooming your thoughts. It's the work of life to constantly to get your thoughts to be right. And I realized I don't want my reality directed by my thoughts. My thoughts are too unpredictable, too up and down. In a day, my thoughts are like, I don't want my reality to be an outpicturing of my thoughts. I want my reality to be hooked in to the thoughtful light. I don't want to use the thoughtless light. I don't want to use the thoughtless light. I want free will. I want to maintain my free will. And I think just by being in this realm and not having direct answers and confirmations, and we have a lag time between thought and manifestation, and that alone births free will, because we can't see that our thoughts are creating reality, because it doesn't happen instantaneously, right? But what feels right to me, and I learned this from Ani, and I'll never forget this one line from her. When I had about my sign about Mashiach, when I saw Rabbi Daniel Gladstein, she said to me, Hashgacha Pratis, which is divine providence, which is the synchronicities that you're getting, the divine timing that you're getting, the winks and the nods and the flirtation all day long from Hashem, comes from Ein Sof, comes from the thoughtful light, the place of the thoughtful light. When your day feels engineered and directed by Hashem, it's almost overwhelming, but I'm getting better at it, because it used to be like I had 2 or 3 instances of it. Now my day is bombarded. Every song on the radio, every YouTube video, almost everything people say to me, I'm like, what's this person saying to me from Hashem? And it's all, I'm beginning to realize how it's all coming to me from the place of the thoughtful light. It's not my will, it's you. I say to Hashem, it's not my will, your will. Not my thoughts, your thoughts. Please don't make my day about my thoughts. Be birthed from my thoughts. Okay, this is, it's also in Pirkei Avos, I forgot it in Hebrew, but make your will his will. So he'll make his will your will. And this is how I understand it through what you're taught about the thoughtful light and the thoughtless light, is when I project my consciousness up to the Ein Sof, and I surrender my thoughts over to there, and I surrender me thinking that I can micromanage my life, me thinking that I know exactly how things are going to turn out and when. I'm like, Hashem, yours, you, please, I'm begging you, your thoughts, your timing, your manifestation inside my life, you, all day long. I just want you to show up in my life in 1,000 different ways. And I know, and I'm going to know that it's you. And the way to, this is another little hack. The way to know that it's Hashem is to have little symbols with him. Like, I'm like, Hashem, every time I see a FedEx truck, it's going to mean this. And then Hashem sends me the FedEx truck. I look up and I see it. You can't look for them. It has to just be that you happen upon it. You can't try for this. You can't try to see Hashem. Hashem, it has to be directed by Hashem. You have to just suddenly look up or suddenly hear something, and it's startling. You get this like a little bit of a startle. You're like, oh, that was Hashem. There you go. And so that's finally I understood. I think I understood what Yira was teaching conceptually, and how I was able to apply it to my daily life practically, and it felt really good to finally pick up that concept in a tangible way. I want to say another thing about Kabbalah. Oh, this is so nice. Pixel Drifter, who are you? Pixel Drifter. God expresses his will through us, and thus we get the opportunity. Oh, that's so romantic. Right? Hashem wants to be understood too, because we're a reflection of him. If we want to be understood, Kal v'chomer, like for sure, Hashem wants to be understood too. And by extension, his thoughts in this way. That is beautiful, Pixel. Tell me your name, Pixel, or I'll just call you Pixel. I know, Irma. Me too. All day long. It's like one long texting conversation. It doesn't end. Oh yeah, Ray. I started license plate. We have a whole thing going on my 613 chat of license plates. License plates. I wish I knew gematria better to understand the license plates more. Yes, Irma, it's true. Yira, when he's in that flow state, oof. I have to pause and like hit rewind. Like, what did he just say? What did he just say? Okay. And also I've come to realize that the job of men in Zohar is gematria and is diagrams. This to me is the male brain, the skill of the male brain. And the female brain, the more Bina side of the brain, is to when I read Zohar, I'm like, what's the message Hashem is giving me inside Zohar? And a lot of times I'll read between the lines, understand the subcontext, understand the message hidden within the message. Inside the text of Zohar, it's almost as if some days when I'm reading Zohar, I feel it was written just for me. Like, oh my gosh, Hashem's wrote this for me. I find my life story in there sometimes. Pixel Drifter, your name is Isaiah. I think I still want to call you Pixel, if that's okay. I like giving people nicknames. Right, so then the men create a structure for the women to learn Zohar. I never understood why I never really wanted to learn gematria so much or make an Elan. I didn't really have a desire to write it down. I'm like, because women were more, what's the word? We're just not as structured in our minds. And we rely on our men to provide that structure, to provide the structure. And this applies to the learning of Kabbalah as well. And that's why I appreciate all the men who bring us the gematrias and bring us the diagrams. I have tremendous appreciation for that. Okay. There's one more video that I wanted to play. Let me just see I wrote down my thoughts. Let me see if I forgot any. Yeah. Then I also want to say that when I want to manifest something, I project my emotion, like, of how it's going to feel. This is the manifestation also from like Esther Hicks and stuff. You just project an emotion into the vortex. And I don't say I want this thing. I say, I want to feel this way. However you want to bring it to me is okay. I want to feel safe. I want to feel bliss. I want to feel, and I send a taste of that emotion up to Keter, up past Keter, to the place of the thoughtful light. And that way Hashem can organize my reality in my entire day to bring me that emotion that I requested. I sent like a little telegram and a package, a little energy package up to the Ein Sof. And then he gets all the malachim to work. He's like, okay, guys, she wants to feel this today. Make it happen. Oh, thank you, Ray Thompson. Zohar is written just for you. For all of us. Okay, let's do our last little video. It's getting late. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, and this video, to me, the buzzword is the Great Awakening. We're inside the Great Awakening right now. And until Yer Hari came and explained in a quantum way what exactly, this is the best explanation I have ever heard about what is the Great Awakening.
And all of this goes away.
This one is 2 minutes long. And this is, again, Yer Hari inside a flow state.
Because now there's only God and his sentiency and his conscious awareness of self. But there is another idea that the illimitable one becomes lucid dreaming. And the idea that he doesn't wake up and reality becomes nullified, but rather he wakes up with inside of the dream itself. And he does that through the conscious awareness of consciousness in the reality. Because when we realize that we're actually the illimitable, and the illimitable is operating in every single person, then you realize your consciousness is God's consciousness in the restricted state. And as we...
Oh, that's so good. Your consciousness is God's consciousness in a restricted state. Okay, think about that. Your consciousness is Hashem's consciousness. Pause. Your consciousness is Hashem's consciousness in a restricted state.
We ascend consciousness as a collective. The collective consciousness, which is the illimitable, wakes up alongside of it.
Great Awakening. That's the Great Awakening right there. This is what I'm talking about. Like when I listen to Yura, I have to pause it and repeat it to myself until it goes in, until I actually feel the words he's saying.
To its own awareness of being. But in that case, we would wake up, it would wake up, but things would still remain differentiated. Meaning, you would still be you, I would still be I, the candle would still be a candle, the table, so on and so forth, all of you would still be you. But everything would enter into a state of illimitable endlessness. The underlying reality would become revealed, which would cause an eternal place. And that's what it means, death will be swallowed up with victory.
Okay, so what he's saying is we're going to achieve immortality without being obliterated. Okay, as a differentiated spark of Hashem, we're going to take this vessel, this differentiated vessel, into a state of immortality, which is unbelievable to think about.
By Netzach. What does it mean? It means that according to very secret interpretations on certain things, there is a plausible possibility that everything can become ultimately in an eternal state. What is even at time? We don't even know what time is. Our time is what we say it's the year 2026 according to what? The Christian calendar, the Roman calendar that they created. The Muslims go on a different calendar. The Jews go on a different calendar.
Yeah.
It's all different years. If you ask a Muslim what year it is, it's not 2026. If you ask a Jew what year it is, they're going to say it's year 5,000 and some change. Right? What even is? We don't even know. We have no idea what time even is. So time. So the true reality is the shifting states of existence.
Oh, did you guys hear that? The true reality is the shift. It's like the quantum field. The true reality is the shifting. Look what he did with his hands. The shifting states of existence. Wow. That is talking about life outside of time, the constraint of time.
And if the shifting states of existence becomes aware, because the consciousness inside of you is really infinity, is really the
Sorry, guys. The consciousness inside of you is really infinity.
Illimitable, and you're fully in the awareness of that, then there's an awakening, and then by that logic, the illimitable can lucid dream, and everything here enters into the messianic era where Hashem rules with everyone, so on and so forth, the age of peace. Death will be swallowed up forever when he drives out the spirit of the evil.
This thing that Ira does with his hand, the first time I saw him do it, I remember I was sitting in his house. The first time I went out to visit them. And when he did this, it was kind of like this with the finger. I was like, oh my God, I remember that from another time and place. Like I had this pocket of memory come back that I knew him in another life. And whenever I see him do that, I get the same hit of what's that called again? Deja vu. Okay, so I want to just expound for 2 minutes on that thought, what I've learned from Yura. When he first presented this to me, the immortality timeline, I was like, oh, this is the one we want. This is the winner. This is the timeline. And since then, Yura has told me that instead of them being separate timelines, like the dead dog and the clouds of glory, it's that one timeline leads us to the next. So I believe the immortality timeline is inevitable because we're just climbing the different states of consciousness to the higher timelines, to lock into the higher timelines. So what the sweetest thing about the immortality timeline that you told me is that when Hashem wakes up inside the dream and our consciousness becomes aware of itself and it wakes up the parts of Hashem that were put to sleep. He put himself to sleep so we could have free will. That's what the symptom is. Hashem putting himself into a sleep state, an amnesia state, forgetting who he was. But when Hashem remembers who he is, without it totally obliterating reality, he can lucid dream. We could play with the quantum field and play with our mind and DNA and everything, all of our capabilities to create reality that are fully vested with Hashem, with Hashem's potentiality and capabilities. There's no end to what we can create together peacefully with joy. It'll be so fun. Every day will be a new creation. Every minute will be a new creation. But the best thing you told me about that timeline is that inside that state, everything Hashem ever dreamt, every person, place, and thing and event comes back. David HaMelech, I think he was terrified because he was just a state of nefesh, and he was like, he didn't think he would come back and Yemos HaMashiach, because I think you have to anchor in your neshama to do that, the level of neshama. And he was here to rectify the nefesh, I believe, if I'm getting that right. So in this immortality timeline, inside the immortality, everything comes back. Every level, nefesh, ruach, neshama, everything that ever incarnated gets to return and be physically back in a vessel. Imagine that. You could like walk down the street and meet any, there's no more time. So there's no past, present, or future. You could meet any character from any era, any personality, anybody you ever wanted to meet. Everybody is going to, every soul is going to be available to interact with. Any pet you had that ever died, you know what I mean? Like it's all coming back inside this immortality timeline and inside this great awakening of Hashem from the part of himself that he put to sleep. And inside that awakening, when we awaken from below, this is also the biggest secret to know. When you wake up to the true reality that you're a part of Hashem, you cause the part of Hashem that went to sleep to remember as well. Because it is arousal from below. What we do in this world of actuality, we're the only world of actuality. So we affect all the upper worlds because we have invested with the greatest amount of stupidity, aka free will. So when we choose from a place of stupidity to reach for Hashem and remember Hashem, Hashem remembers himself. Wow. And when Hashem remembers himself, we activate the immortality timeline. Boom. Okay, guys, I said out my deep thoughts. Thank you so much for allowing me to express my essence to you guys and for you to be on the receiving end. And I hope it inspires you to be closer to Hashem, to feel optimistic, not to give into any fear vibe or fear conversation. Nothing is coming to get us. We are the masters of the galaxy. We just don't know it. It hasn't been the flip hasn't been switched on yet, but it's coming. Just remember that you are the most actualized version of Hashem. You are the most embodied physical expression of Hashem's will. Remember to work on your male-female relationships, because that's the key to open up the light codes on the planet. The repair, when men and women get it right inside relationship, it's the greatest influence we could have to open up the Kodesh Kodashim, the Panemius of Keter, where the light codes are being held. And we know on Hanukkah, like we got the thin rays. We're getting thin rays. It's eking out slowly. We're getting slowly recalibrated and used to these feelings in our body, so that when they get stronger and stronger, we won't explode. We'll be able to tolerate it. Yeah, so just continue to do the work of Geula. It's an inside job. It's nothing we have to fight on the outside. No, it's just talking to Hashem, refining your character, being kind to your partner, creating a safe space for women through going center column, not being too extreme right or left. When the men make it safe, the women can sparkle. And when the women sparkle, the light codes get activated for the planet. The whole planetary grid lights up like the night sky. Thank you guys for joining me. And I'm not sure about Thursday, but if I go live Thursday, I'll for sure let you know. If I don't see you Thursday, I will see you back next Monday. Mwah.